She had nothing until a millionaire man gave her everything she ever dreamed of. Rachel Johnson felt her legs wobble as she tried to stand up for the third time that morning. She had spent the last 4 days surviving on just water and some stale crackers she found at the bottom of her bag, but she couldn't give up now. It was while she was trying to arrange her handmade scarves on the small blanket spread across the mall floor that everything went dark. Her legs gave out and she collapsed, scattering the colorful pieces across the cold marble floor. Michael Thompson was walking briskly through the luxurious corridors when he noticed a small crowd forming near the food court. He approached without much interest, merely out of curiosity, until he saw a young woman lying on the ground, surrounded by scattered scarves. "Has anyone called for help?" he asked, pushing past the onlookers. "I think she fainted," an older woman replied. "She's been trying to sell those things for hours." Michael knelt beside the young woman. She looked to be in her early 20s, with brown hair tied in a simple bun and wearing clean but plain clothes. When she opened her eyes, he was surprised by the determined gaze that met his. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Rachel blinked a few times, trying to focus her vision. The man in front of her wore an impeccable suit, his dark hair neatly styled, his face showing genuine concern. I need to get up," she murmured, trying to prop herself up on her elbows. "Easy, don't push yourself. When was the last time you ate?" The question made Rachel flush with shame. She looked away, focusing on the scarves scattered around her. "My work. I need to gather everything." Michael examined the pieces carefully. They were hand-embroidered scarves with delicate patterns and vibrant colors, clearly high-quality work. "Did you make these?" "Yes," she replied, still struggling to stand. "It's my profession." "Profession?" Michael was intrigued. "How long has it been since you ate?" Rachel finally managed to sit up, but avoided answering. She began collecting the scarves with trembling hands. "Look, I'll buy them all," Michael said, pulling out his wallet. "No!" Her reply came out louder than she intended. "I don't want charity." "It's not charity. It's an investment. These scarves are beautiful. You don't even know how much they cost." "Then tell me." Rachel hesitated. She knew the man was just being kind, but her pride wouldn't let her accept disguised pity. I just need a real job opportunity." Michael paused, wallet in hand. There was something in her voice that struck him deeply. "What kind of work?" "Anything. I can sew, embroider, design. I learn fast. I just can't take handouts." "Why not?" Rachel took a deep breath, still gathering the scarves. "Because I have 3 siblings who depend on me. If I take easy money today, how do I explain to them that you have to work honestly for what you want in life?" Michael was silent for a few seconds. That answer was the last thing he expected to hear. 3 siblings? Yes. Jason is 15, Emma is 13, and Ethan is 10. I've been taking care of them alone for 2 years. "And your parents?" Rachel's expression closed off. She finished collecting the scarves and stood slowly, leaning against the wall. "They aren't with us anymore." Michael realized he shouldn't press further. He stood as well, watching as she tied the blanket with the scarves inside. "You said you can design?" "Yes. I've always loved it. It was my favorite subject in school." "Do you work in fashion?" Rachel let out a bitter laugh. "I work wherever I can get paid. I've been a nanny, a cleaner, a kitchen assistant, but what I really love is creating. That's why I make the scarves." Michael pulled a business card from his pocket. "I own a clothing company. We're always in need of talented people." Rachel eyed the business card skeptically. "Why would you do this for a stranger?" "Because it's not charity, it's business. If you have talent, I have interest. Simple as that." She tucked the card into her purse without looking. "I'll think about it." Don't think too long. Life rarely gives second chances to those who hesitate too much. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers tremendously. Now, continuing, Rachel spent the entire night staring at the card. Michael Thompson, Thompson Design House, it read in gold letters. She recognized the company name, one of the largest in the industry in the country. The next morning, she dressed in her best outfit, a black pants and white blouse she'd received from a former employer, and took 2 buses to reach the address on the card. The building was imposing, all glass, located on one of the most elegant avenues in New York City. Rachel took a deep breath before entering. The lobby was luxurious, with light marble and modern furniture. Behind the counter, an elegant woman in her 40s looked her up and down with clear disapproval. "May I help you?" asked the receptionist in a tone that made her doubt obvious. "I have a meeting with Mr. Michael Thompson." "Name?" "Rachel Johnson." The woman checked the schedule with an expression that suggested she wasn't finding anything. "I don't see any appointments under that name. He gave me his card yesterday, told me to come." "I'm sorry, but Mr. Thompson doesn't see anyone without an appointment. And no offense, but I think you're mistaken. This is a serious company." Rachel felt her face grow warm, but kept her composure. "Could you at least let him know I'm here?" "I can't bother Mr. Thompson with this. I suggest you look for job listings in the newspaper classifieds." It was then that Michael stepped out of the elevator with a very well-dressed blonde woman. He stopped when he saw Rachel at the reception. "Rachel, I'm glad you came." The receptionist seemed to swallow her tongue. "Mr. Thompson, I didn't know—" "It's fine, Victoria." "Rachel, come, let's go to my office." Michael led Rachel to the elevator, followed by the blonde woman. During the ride up, he made introductions. "Rachel, this is Jennifer, my personal assistant for the past 5 years. Jennifer, Rachel will be working with us." Jennifer forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Pleasure, Rachel. What department will you be in?" "We're still figuring that out," Michael replied. "She has a talent for design." Michael's office took up the entire top floor. It had a panoramic view of the city and was decorated with modern art pieces. Rachel tried not to show how impressed she was. "Have a seat," said Michael, pointing to a comfortable armchair. "Jennifer, could you prepare a trial contract for Rachel? Junior design assistant position." "Of course," Jennifer replied, making notes. "What's her educational background?" Rachel hesitated. She'd dropped out of her fashion design program in her 2nd year when her parents disappeared. "I'm still studying," she lied. "Great," said Michael. "What matters is talent. Jennifer will guide you through procedures. You can start Monday." After Rachel left, Jennifer shut the office door forcefully. "Michael, can we talk?" "Of course. Are you sure about this? We know nothing about this girl." "I know she has talent and determination. That's more than I can say for many people who've worked here for years. But she could be anything. A liar? An opportunist?" "Jennifer, she turned down easy money yesterday. Said she only wanted a work opportunity. That's not opportunist behavior." Jennifer crossed her arms. "I hope you don't regret this." Over the weekend, Rachel shared the news with her siblings. They lived in a modest 2-bedroom house in Queens, rented with the little she managed to earn selling scarves. "Sis, you did it!" Emma shouted, jumping on the couch. "It's just the beginning," Rachel said. "I need to prove I deserve to stay there." Jason, the oldest, was more reserved. "What if it doesn't work out?" "It will," she replied, with a conviction she didn't fully feel. "It has to." Ethan, the youngest, hugged her tightly. "You're the best sister in the world." Rachel smiled, but inside she was terrified. What if they found out she had no formal training? What if she couldn't keep up with the pace of a big company? On Monday, Rachel arrived at the building an hour early. She was nervous but determined to give her best. Jennifer greeted her with a cold smile. "I'll show you your desk and explain your duties." The design department was on the 10th floor, a spacious area filled with drafting tables, computers, and fabric samples everywhere. There were about 15 employees, all impeccably dressed and with an intellectual air. "This is your desk," Jennifer said, pointing to a more secluded corner. "Your initial tasks will be organizing samples, filing sketches, and making coffee for the team." "Coffee?" Rachel asked, surprised. "Yes, everyone starts this way. It's important to learn the company hierarchy." Jennifer introduced Rachel to the team as the new assistant. Some colleagues were friendly, others just nodded. During the first week, Rachel threw herself into the tasks she was given. She organized samples by color and texture, filed sketches chronologically, and yes, made coffee for the entire team 3 times a day. But during lunch breaks, when everyone left, she studied the sketches left on the desks. She analyzed the techniques, the strokes, the proportions. She started making small sketches in a notebook she kept hidden in her bag. Jennifer watched everything with extra attention. She noticed Rachel arrived early, left late, and never complained. This bothered her deeply. On Friday of the second week, Jennifer approached Rachel's desk. "Mr. Thompson wants to see you in his office." Rachel went up nervously, trying to imagine what she might have done wrong. "Rachel, have a seat," Michael said with a smile. "How have these first days been?" "Good, sir. I'm learning a lot." "Great. And your siblings? How are they?" Rachel was touched, he remembered. "They're good too. Very proud." "That's nice. Listen, I wanted to show you something." Michael opened a folder with sketches. "These are the designs for the new collection. What do you think?" Rachel examined the drawings carefully. They were beautiful, but all looked the same. "They're very elegant," she said diplomatically. "But..." "There's no but." "Rachel, I asked for your honest opinion." She took a deep breath. "Well, they're technically perfect, but maybe they lack a bit of personality. They're all too similar." Michael nodded thoughtfully. "That's exactly what I was thinking. Our team is too comfortable. They always do the same thing. Maybe they need new inspiration." "Do you sketch?" "A little." "I'd like to see." "It's nothing professional. Doesn't matter. I want to see." Rachel hesitated, then pulled the notebook from her bag. She showed some sketches she'd made while observing clothes on the street, on buses, on everyday people. Michael examined each drawing with growing interest. "These are incredible, Rachel. They have life, personality. This is exactly what our company needs." "Thank you. Starting Monday, I want you to work directly with me on some projects. Jennifer will handle the details." When Rachel left, Jennifer entered the office, visibly irritated. "Oh, you're promoting her already? I'm giving her a chance. She has a different eye." "Michael, she's been here 2 weeks making coffee. Now she's going to design?" "Jennifer, what's the problem? I thought you'd be happy to have someone talented on the team." "I'm happy when people deserve it. She doesn't even have a degree." "How do you know?" "I looked into it. She has no diploma in anything related to fashion." Michael fell silent. "Does that change anything for you?" Jennifer asked. "It changes that. Now I know she's self-taught. That makes her talent even more impressive." Jennifer stormed out, slamming the door. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot for those of us just starting out. Now back to the story. Over the weekend, Jennifer couldn't stop thinking about the situation. She had worked 5 years to become Michael's personal assistant. She had a degree, an MBA, spoke 3 languages. How could some girl with no education get an opportunity she herself had never had? On Monday, when Rachel arrived excited to start her new projects, she found 2 security guards waiting in the lobby. "Ms. Rachel Johnson?" one of them asked. "Yes." "You need to come with us. There's been a complaint that you falsified documents to get the job." "What do you mean?" Rachel turned pale. "It's better if you come quietly." Rachel was taken to a small room on the ground floor, where she found the HR manager and Jennifer. "Rachel," Jennifer said with a fake smile, "we need to clarify some things about your documentation." "What documentation?" "You claim to have a degree in fashion, but our records show you never completed any courses." "I never said I had a diploma," Rachel protested. "I said I was studying." "We have a recording of the interview," Jennifer lied. "You clearly stated you had a completed degree." "That's not true." The HR manager, clearly uncomfortable, shuffled some papers. "Rachel, regardless of what was said, the fact is you don't meet the minimum qualifications for the position. We'll have to let you go." "But Mr. Michael is traveling," Jennifer cut in. "He left instructions for us to handle this in his absence." Rachel knew she was being deceived, but had no way to prove it. 2 hours later, she was on the street with a small severance and a broken heart. She arrived home crying. Jason found her sobbing in the kitchen. "Rachel, what happened?" "They fired me, said I lied about my education." "But you didn't lie." It doesn't matter. They'd already made up their minds. Emma and Ethan came home from school and found Rachel still crying. "Are we going to go hungry again?" Ethan asked fearfully. "No," Rachel said, wiping her tears. "I'll figure something out." The next day, Michael returned from his trip and learned what had happened. He called Jennifer into his office. "Why did you fire Rachel?" "She lied about her education. We couldn't keep a dishonest employee." "Jennifer, I knew she didn't have a degree. I hired her anyway." "How did you know?" "Because I asked her directly, and she hesitated. It was obvious she had no formal training, but she has talent, and that mattered more to me." Jennifer paled. "I thought I was protecting the company." "You were protecting your own interests. You're jealous of her." "That's not true." "Jennifer, you're fired. I want you out today." "Michael, you can't do this. I've worked here for 5 years." "And in those 5 years you stopped growing. Rachel showed more creativity in 2 weeks than you have in 2 years." Jennifer left furious. That same afternoon, she created fake social media profiles and started spreading rumors about Rachel, claiming she had seduced the boss to get the job. Michael tried calling Rachel, but the number she'd given no longer worked. He went to the address on file, but the family had moved away. Rachel had gone back to selling scarves, but now the situation was even worse. The rumors spread by Jennifer had reached the mall, and some shopkeepers treated her with disdain. "That's the one who tried to scam the businessman," they whispered. Rachel pretended not to hear, but each comment felt like a knife to her chest. One morning, as she tried to explain to a potential customer that the rumors weren't true, the woman turned away in disgust. "I don't buy from people like that." Rachel collapsed right there in the middle of the mall. For the second time in just a few months, she found herself on the ground, but this time it wasn't from physical hunger. It was from hunger for dignity. That's when she felt a gentle hand touch her shoulder. "Rachel?" She looked up and saw Michael kneeling beside her, wearing the same concerned expression he had weeks ago. "You disappeared," he said softly. "I was fired, remember? Over a mistake I already fixed. Jennifer doesn't work for me anymore." "It doesn't matter. Everyone already knows the twisted story she spread." Michael helped Rachel to her feet. "Let's talk somewhere more private." They went to a cafe in the mall. Rachel ordered only water, and Michael noticed but didn't comment. "Why didn't you come to me?" he asked. "For what? Would you have believed me over your assistant of 5 years?" "I did believe you. That's why I fired her." Rachel was surprised. "You really fired her?" "That same day, and I want you back." "People will talk. Let them. Anyone who knows my character knows I don't mix work with personal matters." Rachel stirred her glass of water. "I need to think. About what? Whether it's worth it. I'm tired of fighting against everything and everyone. Maybe it's better to accept that my place is right here, selling scarves." Michael was silent for a moment. "Can I meet your siblings?" "What?" "I want to meet the people you fight so hard for. Maybe they can help me convince you." Rachel hesitated, but something in Michael's sincere gaze made her agree. By evening, they took a taxi to her family's new home, even simpler than the last. Michael was shocked by the poverty, but didn't show it. Jason, Emma, and Ethan greeted him with curiosity mixed with suspicion. "Is this our sister's boss?" Ethan asked. "Ex-boss," Rachel corrected. "Why ex?" Emma wanted to know. Michael spent 2 hours talking with the three of them. He was impressed by Jason's maturity, Emma's intelligence, and Ethan's positive energy despite their hardships. When he left, Jason walked him to the door. "Mr. Michael," the boy said, "I don't know what happened at my sister's job, but I know she's the most honest person there is. If someone said she did something wrong, it's a lie." "I know, Jason. That's why I want her back." "Then why doesn't she want to?" "Because she's tired of being judged. Our sister always says those who give up don't deserve to win." Michael smiled. "She taught you that?" "She teaches us a lot. Says studying is the only way out of this life. That's why she works so hard." "And do you study?" "We try. But sometimes we don't have supplies, books, Michael felt a pang in his chest. Jason, I'm going to make your sister an offer. If she agrees to come back, I'll make sure you three have everything you need to study. We don't want charity. It's not charity, it's an investment. You're the most important people in her life. If I want her to work happily, I need you to be okay. The next day, Michael returned to the family's home with a formal offer. He proposed Rachel for the position of assistant designer with a fair salary and a career plan. There's one condition, he said. What? You'll study. I'll pay for a technical fashion course so you can get the education you deserve. Rachel was moved but still hesitant. People will say you're giving me this for other reasons. Rachel, I'm 42 years old. I built a business empire. Do you really think I care about gossip? I do. Then let's prove to everyone that you deserve to be there because of your talent. Rachel agreed, but on one condition. She wanted to start as an intern with a lower salary and rise on her own merit. Michael accepted, impressed by her dignity. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, back to the story. Rachel's return to the company caused quite a stir. Some employees welcomed her warmly, while others eyed her with clear suspicion, but she was determined to prove her worth. She worked from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the company, then attended technical classes from 7 to 10 p.m. She came home exhausted, but happy. Her siblings were enrolled in better schools, had all their school supplies, and even a computer for studying. Jason had started English lessons, Emma joined the school choir, and Ethan was on a soccer team. But not everything went smoothly. Samantha Thompson, Michael's niece, had graduated from an expensive fashion design school and expected to take on an important role in her uncle's company. When she heard that an unqualified intern was gaining recognition, she was furious. "Uncle, you need to be more careful about who you hire," she said during a family lunch. "Why?" "That Rachel. I read about her online. There are some very unpleasant rumors. Samantha, you know my character. Do you really think I'd get involved in something inappropriate? Of course not, but appearances matter, and she might be taking advantage of your kindness." Michael sighed. Samantha had always been spoiled and used to getting everything easily. "When do you want to start working at the company?" "Tomorrow. I have so many ideas to modernize the collections." The next day, Samantha arrived as the new creative manager. Rachel was introduced to her as the intern who's learning. Samantha greeted her coldly, looking her up and down. "So you're the famous Rachel?" "I don't know if I'm famous for anything. My uncle speaks very highly of your talent." The sarcasm was unmistakable. In the following weeks, Samantha did everything to humiliate Rachel. She criticized her designs in front of the whole team, assigned impossible tasks with unrealistic deadlines, and always found flaws in everything she did. "Rachel, this design is completely off-brand," she said in a meeting. "It looks like something from a flea market." "I can redo it," Rachel replied patiently. "Don't bother, I'll do it myself. It's better." Rachel swallowed the humiliation in silence. She needed the job and didn't want to cause trouble for Michael. But one afternoon, while organizing supplies in the storage room, she overheard Samantha talking to two co-workers. "That poor girl thinks she's a designer because my uncle has a crush on her," Samantha said. "But it's obvious she has no talent." "Do you really think there's something between them?" one co-worker asked. "I'm sure of it. Why else would he give so many opportunities to some unqualified poor girl?" Rachel felt her blood boil, but kept her composure. She slipped away quietly and returned to her desk. That evening in class, her teacher praised one of her projects. "Rachel, this is excellent work. You have a remarkable natural talent." "Thank you, Professor. Have you thought about entering the National Young Designers Competition?" "What competition?" "It's a contest for students. The winner gets a scholarship to study in England and an internship with a major international brand." Rachel was intrigued but quickly discouraged. "I don't think I'm at that level." "You are. You should try." At home, Rachel told her siblings about the competition. "Sis, you have to enter," Emma said. "I don't know." "Why not?" asked Jason. What if I make a fool of myself? What if you win? Ethan countered. Rachel decided to apply but didn't tell anyone at the company. She worked on her projects late at night after returning from school. For 2 months, she developed a full collection inspired by the lives of working women in the United States. Each piece told a story of struggle and triumph. The submission deadline was approaching when Ethan fell ill. Nothing serious, but he needed care. Rachel missed 2 days of work to take him to the doctor and care for him at home. Samantha seized the opportunity to speak ill of her to Michael. "Uncle, Rachel has been missing a lot of work. She can't be trusted with important projects. She told me her brother was sick." There's always an excuse. Just yesterday, I saw her leaving the office with a folder full of papers. She could be taking our projects to competitors. Michael grew concerned. Had he misjudged Rachel? On Friday, Samantha organized a team meeting to present the new spring-summer collection projects. She was eager to showcase her creations, but when she opened the folder, she found nothing. Overnight, she had accidentally deleted all the files from her computer. "We need to reschedule the meeting," she said nervously. "Why?" asked Michael. There was a technical issue with the files. That's when Rachel stood up. "Mr. Michael, if I may, I have some sketches that could serve as a backup." "What sketches?" "Just some projects I worked on in my free time. They're nothing professional, but show me." Rachel took out her notebook and displayed drawings she had made while observing women on the bus, at the market, on the street. Practical yet elegant pieces that told real stories. The room fell silent. The sketches were exceptional. "These are incredible," said one of the senior designers. "They have personality, technique, and a clear narrative." Samantha turned red with anger. "They're just doodles," she snapped. "They're works of art," Michael countered. "Rachel, did you develop these alone?" "Yes, late at night. When I can't sleep, I sketch." "Why didn't you show them sooner?" "I didn't think they were good enough." Michael looked at Samantha. "And you, where are your projects?" "I told you there was a technical issue." "Funny. You have a degree, top-notch equipment, free time to create. Yet the intern who works all day and studies at night is the one producing quality content." Samantha left the meeting humiliated. That afternoon, Michael called Rachel into his office. "I want to promote you to official assistant designer." "Thank you, Mr. Michael." "Just call me Michael. Now tell me, what was in that folder you were taking home?" Rachel hesitated. "They were personal projects." "What kind of projects?" "I entered a national competition. I was developing a collection." "And why didn't you tell me?" "Because if I won, people would say it was due to your influence. I wanted to prove I could win on my own merit." Michael was moved by her answer. "When will the results be announced?" "Next week." "Regardless of the outcome, I'm proud of you." Rachel smiled, but inside she was anxious. The competition was her chance to prove she had real talent. A week later, she was at work when she received a call. "Hello. May I speak with Rachel Johnson?" "Speaking." "This is the organizing committee for the National Young Designers Competition. I'm pleased to inform you that you've been selected as a finalist." Rachel nearly dropped the phone. "What?" "Your collection, Women of Strength, is among the top 5 finalists. The final presentation will be next Monday in New York City." When she hung up, Rachel was shaking. Jason, who had come to pick her up from work, noticed something was wrong. "Sis, are you okay?" "I made it to the finals of the competition." "Really?" shouted Jason, making everyone in the reception area look over. The news spread quickly through the company. Some colleagues congratulated her, while others seemed surprised that an intern had gotten so far. Samantha was furious when she found out. "This is impossible," she said to Michael. "Someone without formal training doesn't just make it to the finals of a national competition." "Samantha, talent isn't learned in a university. It's developed through passion and dedication." "Are you going to her presentation?" "Of course, and you should go too. Maybe you'll learn something." On Sunday before the presentation, Rachel was incredibly nervous. She didn't have the right outfit for such an important event. Emma tried to calm her down. "Sis, what matters is your work, not your clothes." "Emma, I'll be competing against people who studied at the best schools, have money, equipment. And you have something they don't, said Jason. What? A story. Your designs speak the truth because you've lived that truth. Ethan walked into the room holding a box. Sis, we pooled our money and got this for you. Inside the box was a simple but elegant navy blue blazer. You spent your school money on this. It was our idea, said Jason. You've always sacrificed for us. It was time we did something for you. Rachel hugged all three of them, crying. On Monday, the event took place at a luxurious hotel in downtown New York City. Rachel arrived with her siblings and Michael, who insisted on being there. The other finalists were clearly from a higher social class. They had professional equipment, assistants, designer clothes. Rachel started to feel out of place, but Jason whispered in her ear, "Remember what you always taught us. It doesn't matter where you're from, it matters where you're going." The presentations were in alphabetical order. Rachel was the fourth of 5 participants. The first 3 presented technically perfect collections, but they were cold. Beautiful pieces, but without soul. When it was Rachel's turn, she stepped onto the stage, trembling. "My collection is called Women of Strength," she began. "Each piece represents a real story of perseverance." She presented 10 looks, telling the story behind each one. The dress honoring her mother, the blouse inspired by the women she met on the bus, the skirt representing single mothers fighting alone. When she finished, the room was silent for a few seconds, then erupted in applause. The last contestant gave a flawless technical presentation, but after Rachel's emotional impact, it felt hollow. While the judges deliberated, Rachel nervously talked with her family. "You were amazing," said Michael. "I think I overdid it with the emotion." "Not at all. Art without emotion isn't art." 15 minutes later, the organizers called all the finalists to the stage. "The decision was unanimous," announced the head judge. "The winner is Rachel Johnson, with the collection Women of Strength." Rachel couldn't believe it. Jason, Emma, and Ethan cheered with joy. Michael was moved. On stage, accepting the trophy, Rachel could barely speak. "I want to dedicate this award to all the women who fight alone, who never give up on their dreams despite the hardships, and to my siblings who teach me every day that love is the most powerful force in the world." After the ceremony, reporters wanted interviews. One asked, "Rachel, what's the secret to your success?" There was never a secret. It was just not giving up when everything seemed impossible. "Will you accept the scholarship to England?" Rachel fell silent. She hadn't thought about it. Going to England would mean leaving her siblings. "I'll think about it." On the way home in Michael's car, her siblings were ecstatic. "Sis, you're going to London," Emma said. "I don't know if I'll accept." "What do you mean?" asked Ethan. "How can I leave you all alone?" Jason held her hand. "Sis, your whole life you've given up your dreams for us. Now it's time for you to live your dream. We'll be fine." "I can't." "Yes, you can," said Michael. "I can arrange a scholarship for Jason too. Emma and Ethan can attend a good boarding school. During vacations, we'll all be together." "That would be too much responsibility for you." "Rachel, you taught me that investing in people is worth more than any business. Let me return the favor." That night, Rachel couldn't sleep. For the first time in her life, she had the chance to pursue her dream without financial worries. But leaving her family was unthinkable. The next morning, she made a decision. She called the competition organizers. "I'd like to decline the scholarship in England." "What do you mean? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." "I know, but I have responsibilities here." "May I ask why?" "I have 3 younger siblings. I can't leave them." The person on the other end fell silent. "You know, we've never had someone refuse for such a noble reason. Let me consult the sponsors. Maybe we can find an alternative." 2 hours later, they called back. "Rachel, we've secured a full family scholarship. You'll go to London, but you'll take your siblings with you. They'll study there too." Rachel couldn't believe it. For the first time in her life, everything was falling into place. But life had other surprises in store. 3 days before the trip, Samantha showed up at her house. "I need to talk to you," she said. "About what?" "I want to apologize." Rachel was surprised. "Why?" "Because I acted like a spoiled child. You deserve everything you've achieved." "Thank you." "Rachel, can I ask you a personal question?" "Go ahead." "Are you in love with my uncle?" The question caught Rachel off guard. "What do you mean?" "It's just obvious that he's in love with you." "That's not true." "Yes, it is. For months he's done nothing but talk about you. How smart you are, how determined, how special." Rachel was confused. She'd never thought of Michael that way. "He's never shown anything. Because he's a gentleman. He doesn't want you to feel pressured." That night, Rachel thought deeply about the conversation. Michael had been kind from day one, but always respectful. He'd never crossed any lines. Did she feel something for him? She'd always admired his integrity, his generosity. But love? She couldn't say. In the week before the trip, the company threw a farewell party. All the employees were there, including industry press. During the event, Michael gave a speech. "Rachel embodies everything our company values: talent, determination, and integrity. I have no doubt she'll be a brilliant ambassador for American design in England." After the speech, they spoke alone in his office. "I'll miss you," Michael said. "Me too." "Rachel, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Don't forget about us here in the United States." "How could I? You changed my life. You changed mine." They looked at each other in silence for a moment. There was a tension in the air that hadn't been there before. "Michael, what is it?" "Thank you for everything." He smiled. "The pleasure was mine." On the day of the trip, Michael came to the airport to say goodbye. The siblings were excited, but Rachel was melancholy. "Everything will be fine," he said. "I know. And if you need anything, I know." At boarding time, Jason, Emma, and Ethan hugged Michael. "Thank you for taking care of our family," Jason said. "Thank you for letting me be part of it," Michael replied. Rachel was the last to say goodbye. They held each other tightly. "Bye," she whispered. "See you soon." On the plane, Emma asked, "Sis, are you crying?" "Just emotions." "You like him, don't you?" "Like who?" "Michael. Not as a boss, as a man." Rachel looked out the window, watching New York City shrink below. "I don't know, Emma, I don't know. London was even more beautiful than she'd imagined." The design school was located in Soho, a charming neighborhood full of studios and galleries. The siblings adjusted quickly. Jason was learning English at an impressive pace. Emma had joined the international school choir, and Ethan played soccer on a local team. Rachel immersed herself in her studies. The teachers were demanding but recognized her talent. Yet at night, alone in the small apartment she shared with her siblings, she missed home. She missed Michael. They video called every week. He talked about the company, she about her studies, but there was always a distance that didn't exist in person. 3 months after arriving in London, Rachel received an internship offer from a major English brand. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it would mean staying 2 more years away from the United States. She told her siblings over dinner. "That's amazing, sis," said Emma. "You have to take it," added Jason. "What about you guys?" "We'll be fine here. We're already settled." But Ethan, always more direct, asked, "Do you want to stay here or go back to the United States?" "Why do you ask that?" "Because you get sad every time you talk to Michael." Rachel was surprised. "I don't get sad." "Yes, you do, and so does he. We can tell." Jason and Emma agreed. "Ethan's right," said Jason. "You care about each other, but neither of you has the courage to say it. It's not that simple." "Yes, it is," said Emma. "Or do you think he did all this just out of kindness? He's a generous person. Sis, generous men exist. But a man who pays for an international school for 3 kids who aren't even related to him? That's love." That night, Rachel called Michael. It was late in the United States, but he answered on the first ring. "Hi, Rachel. Everything okay?" "Hi. Sorry for calling so late." "No problem." I'm still at the office. Michael, can I ask you a personal question? Of course. Why did you do all this for us? What do you mean? The kids' school, my scholarship, everything. Why? Michael was silent for a moment. Rachel, tell me the truth. The truth is, you made me realize I was living an empty life. I had money, success, but no purpose. Is that all? No. What else? The truth is, I fell in love with you from the first day, with your dignity, your strength, your love for your siblings. Rachel's heart raced. Why didn't you ever say anything? Because I didn't want you to feel obligated. You've already suffered enough in life. What if I told you I feel something for you too? Would you? I'm telling you now. They talked until dawn in London. They opened their hearts, sharing dreams, fears, and hopes. Rachel, Michael said before hanging up, I know about the internship offer there. How? The English company called me for a reference. And what did you say? That you're the most talented person I know. But I also said I hope you come back to the United States. Why? Because I need you here. The company needs you, I need you. For what? To help me turn our company into a global leader, to be my partner, my equal, in everything. Rachel smiled across the ocean. That's an interesting offer. It's the offer of a lifetime. A week later, Rachel turned down the English internship and announced she was returning to the United States. Her siblings were thrilled. London was beautiful, but home was home. Are we going back to being poor again? Ethan asked, ever practical. No, Rachel replied. We're going back to build our dreams. With Michael? With Michael. Their return to the United States was a celebration. Michael was at the airport with a bouquet of flowers and a smile Rachel had never seen before. When they embraced, it was different. No longer the hug of a boss and employee or even friends. It was the embrace of two people in love. Welcome back, he whispered. It's good to be back, she whispered. The siblings watched everything with huge smiles. In the following months, Rachel and Michael worked together to transform the company. She brought the techniques she had learned in London, and he brought his market experience. They created a sustainable clothing line that told stories of resilience. Each piece represented a real woman, a real struggle. The collection became an international success. Fashion magazines worldwide talked about the American Revolution in the fashion industry. But what mattered most to Rachel was seeing her siblings growing up happy and healthy. Jason was in his senior year of high school, already with a scholarship secured at a good university. Emma had discovered a talent for music, and Ethan dreamed of becoming an engineer. A year after returning from London on a December evening, Michael took Rachel to dinner at an elegant restaurant. Rachel, can I ask you something? Of course. Will you marry me? She nearly choked on her wine. What do you mean? I want to marry you. I want us to be a real family, you, me, and your siblings. Our siblings, she corrected. Our siblings. Rachel began to cry. Is that a yes? It's the biggest yes of my life. The wedding was simple but emotional. It took place at the church in the neighborhood where Rachel had lived when she was poor. She insisted on it. Jason walked his sister down the aisle, Emma sang Ave Maria, and Ethan was the ring bearer. Rachel, Michael said during the vows, you taught me that wealth isn't about having a lot of money. It's about having the people we love by our side. Michael, she replied, you taught me that dreams don't have a social class. All it takes is courage and hard work to make them come true. After the wedding, they founded a social enterprise that provided opportunities for underprivileged youth interested in fashion. Rachel became a national reference in sustainable design. Michael discovered that doing good for others was the best business in life. Jason graduated with a degree in business and took over part of the company. Emma became a professional singer, and Ethan, at just 20, was already a certified engineer. The family that had started as 4 orphans struggling to survive became a symbol of hope for thousands of Americans. But the most beautiful story wasn't their professional success. It was the love they built together, rooted in respect, admiration, and trust. One Sunday morning, 10 years after their first meeting at the mall, Rachel and Michael were having coffee in their garden. "Do you regret anything?" he asked. "Not a thing, and you?" "Just one thing." "What?" "That I didn't meet you sooner." Rachel smiled. "You met me at the right time, when I was ready to receive everything I'd ever dreamed of." "Which was?" "A real family, a real love, and the chance to make a difference in people's lives." Michael kissed her softly. "I love you, Rachel Johnson Thompson." "I love you, Michael Thompson." They looked out at the garden, where Jason played with his twin children, Emma practiced a new song, and Ethan showed his wife an engineering project. Rachel had nothing when she met Michael. He gave her everything she had ever dreamed of: opportunity, family, love, and purpose. But what she didn't know at the time was that she had also given him everything he had ever dreamed of: a life with meaning. The end. What did you think of Rachel and Michael's journey? Have you lived or heard similar stories of resilience? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Would you like us to keep sharing inspiring stories? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Together we can share even more heartwarming stories.